All right, today we are diving into a story that time itself tried to bury. We're talking about a wild reinterpretation of a forgotten chapter in Egyptian history. A chapter so revolutionary, so dangerous to the powers that be, that they literally tried to scrub it from existence. So, yeah, let's get right into it.
So, let's set this scene. The year is 1922. The place, Egypt's Valley of the Kings. An archaeologist, Howard Carter, peeks into a newly opened tomb and just whispers those iconic words. And boom, the discovery of King Tut's tomb becomes this massive global sensation. Suddenly, the whole world is obsessed with Egypt. You know, that Egyptomania craze that just swept the globe.
But here's where it gets interesting. What if all that stuff, the famous golden mask, all the treasure, even the stories about a mummy's curse, what if that wasn't the real story? What if it was all just a distraction, a set of carefully placed breadcrumbs leading to something way deeper and way more dangerous?
Yeah, while everyone was losing their minds over the boy king Tutankhamun, the real secrets were hiding right there in plain sight. Some of them were even carved into his golden throne, and they all pointed back to one guy. The one person the powers that be wanted to completely erase, Tut's own father. And that guy's name was Akhenaten. So, get this, he becomes pharaoh in 1353 BCE, and in just 17 short years, he turns everything on its head. I mean, his ideas were so out there, so radical, that after he was gone, they launched this massive, systematic campaign to wipe him from memory. We're talking chiseling his name off of monuments, smashing statues. They even officially labeled him the Great Criminal.
So you gotta ask, right? What could he have possibly done to deserve that? Well, he didn't just tweak a few religious rules, oh no. He launched a full-blown spiritual revolution that threatened to bring the entire Egyptian empire to its knees.
Okay, so picture this clash of titans. On one side, you've got the super powerful priesthood of Amun. These guys control everything. A whole pantheon of gods, complex rituals that only they know, and of course, incredible wealth. Then along comes Akhenaten, and he introduces the Aton. Just one, single, universal light. A divine source that, and this is the key part, was accessible to everyone, directly. You didn't need a priest to talk to your god anymore. You can imagine how well that went over.
And his changes weren't just about religion. I mean, he abolished slavery. Think about that. In ancient Egypt, that's the bedrock of their economy. He put a stop to all sacrifices, animal and human. He literally packed up and moved the entire capital from Thebes to a brand new city he built from scratch just for the Aton. But the final nail in the coffin, he took away all the power and, more importantly, the money from that Amun priesthood.
But this whole revolution, it wasn't just social or religious. It was physical. And maybe the most shocking, the most bizarre piece of evidence Akhenaten left for us was his own body, or at least how he insisted it be shown to the world.
Yeah, just forget everything you think you know about how pharaohs are supposed to look. You know, all stoic and perfect. The art from his time, what we call the Amarna style, is, well, it's just plain weird. He and his whole family are shown with these super long skulls, skinny necks, really wide hips, and their bodies are kind of androgynous. And this wasn't a one-off thing. It's a consistent look across his entire family and all our art.
So what in the world is going on here? Now, mainstream historians, they'll suggest maybe a genetic disorder, something like Marfan syndrome. But honestly, none of those theories really explain all of the traits or why they were so consistent across the entire family. Which leads us to a much, much bigger question. Was this just some medical quirk, or was it a sign of something else?
And this is where the theory gets really wild. The idea is that Akhenaten's bizarre body wasn't a mistake or a disease. It was a signature, a genetic marker, a sign that he belonged to some kind of hybrid, or maybe even non-terrestrial, lineage, and that he was here on a mission, a cosmic mission to basically level up human consciousness.
Okay, so you have this incredibly deep revolution, led by a king who looks like he's from another planet. You just know that's not going to go unanswered. The old establishment, they fought back hard. And we're not just talking about politics here. This was a war for the soul of Egypt, a true metaphysical battle. On one side, you have Akhenaten's vision of unity and light. On the other, the old world of fear, of control, and of priests telling you what to believe.
So Akhenaten just vanishes from the historical record. And what follows is pure chaos. You get a string of pharaohs who barely last any time at all. That includes, of course, the boy king, Tutankhamun, who dies very suddenly at just 19. Pretty suspicious, right? All this chaos and instability
ends when a military general, a guy named Horemheb, just grabs power. It was basically a coup, but they called it a coronation.
And as soon as Horemheb is on the throne, he and the newly restored priests get to work. Their mission? To completely erase Akhenaten. I mean, they went to work chiseling his name and face off of every single monument. They tore down his city. They even rewrote the official history books, the king lists, making it look like the timeline went straight from Akhenaten's dad to Horemheb. It's like Akhenaten, Tut, and the others, they just never happened.
So, did it work? Did they manage to erase him? Well, you can erase a name from a stone wall. But an idea? That's a lot harder to kill. The teachings of the Aten didn't just vanish. They went into hiding.
The thinking goes that the priests who still believed in the Aten, they got out of Egypt. They fled, and they took this light lineage with them. And this secret knowledge, this hidden stream, is said to have popped up in other places. It might have influenced mystical groups like the Essenes. You see echoes of it in Gnostic texts. And get this, parts of Akhenaten's hymns look incredibly similar to Psalm 104 in the Bible. It's like they were preserving the message for a later date.
So really, when you look at it this way, the end of Akhenaten's reign wasn't an ending at all. It was the beginning of something else. It was the moment the message got encrypted, hidden away in the shadows of history, just waiting for the right people to come along who could finally understand it.
And that, of course, brings it all back to us, right now. It leaves us with one last, pretty mind-blowing question. If this whole story was a kind of time capsule, a message in a bottle thrown into the ocean of time, maybe we're the ones who just found it washed up on the shore. Could it be that we are the generation that was finally meant to decode the message of the Star King?